secret you won't believe.
Am I the only one that finds this strange?
Without a Trace after CSI tonight.
All this week, be a soap star, stand-up comedian, a cop, or the voice in a cartoon. That's just a few things our anchors always wanted to do, and see what happens when they do it on The Early Show.
Remember, everyone, if you see news in the making, give us a call in either Miami-Dade or Broward. You can call us at 866-658-TIPS.
Lots of monkeying around at this birthday party. Nonya, an endangered Sumatran orangutan, turned 52 today. She spent her special day opening presents and munching on yummy flowers out at Metro Zoo. Nonya is the oldest orangutan in the U.S. and the 5th oldest in the world now. Congratulations. Happy birthday.
All right.
That's our report. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here at 11 for CBS 4 News tonight. Now it's time for the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather. Good night.
And still they come. Tonight, Americans by the thousands from every walk of life wait hours to pay last respects to President Reagan. They'll tell you why. Was Libya's Muammar Gaddafi plotting to assassinate a world leader even as he was renouncing terrorism? We'll tell you about an alleged plot. An important decision by the Bush administration could affect your telephone bill. We'll give you the inside story. And the passing of an American original.
Sweet America.
Remembering the soulful genius of Ray Charles.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting tonight from Washington.
Good evening, and once again, we are just across from the Capitol, where something remarkable has been going on all day. It is still going on right now. Under the dome in the Great Rotunda, thousands and thousands of people from all over America are walking silently past the casket of Ronald Reagan hour after hour, paying their last respects to the 40th president before he's laid to rest tomorrow in California. CBS News White House correspondent Bill Plant is at the Capitol.
When it was morning today in America, the lines of those who had come to say goodbye to Ronald Reagan snaked across the Capitol grounds.
He made me want to be a better American.
Hours of waiting in Washington's intense heat gave way to cool minutes inside. Just time enough to stop for a moment in thought, fight back a tear, or snap off a salute. They were ordinary people, as well as the famous, or once famous, friends and sometime foes from the nation and the world. A grieving Margaret Thatcher wrote in the guest book, "To Ronnie, well done, good and faithful servant." There were Supreme Court justices, the new president of Iraq, veterans, and children not yet thought of in Ronald Reagan's time.
Well, he Ronald Reagan. He never lied, even if he did something bad by accident.
At Blair House today, where the Reagan family waited, Nancy Reagan received the condolences of her husband's political contemporaries.
I tell you, she looked good and strong and very dignified, and given the very painful circumstances, in remarkably good shape.
Funeral preparations were underway under heavy security at the Washington National Cathedral. And at a downtown hotel, dozens of former Reagan White House staff members took time from their jobs and lives to work on their old boss's final event. To say that they adored him would be understatement.
He had the unusual ability of making you feel like you were the only person in the world when you were talking to him.
They will clear through security. There'll be parking facilities on.
3/4 of the cathedral's 4,000 seats will go to official Washington and the world's politicians and royalty. That leaves only 1,000 other places and thousands who want to be there.
Unfortunately, we have nowhere near the number of seats in the cathedral to accommodate the number of tickets that are being requested.
People will continue to make this visit through the night. Then tomorrow is a national day of mourning. And after the funeral service, Ronald Reagan goes back to California for the last time to be buried at sunset. Dan?
Bill Plant at the Capitol, thanks. CBS News will bring you live coverage tomorrow morning of the service at the National Cathedral and tomorrow evening, the sunset burial in California. Right now, we want to tell you about President Bush's summit with leaders of the Group of 8 industrial nations at Sea Island, Georgia. At that summit, as it wrapped up today, the president outlined what other nations are and or not willing to do to help the United States in Iraq. CBS News Chief White House correspondent John Roberts is in Savannah, Georgia. John?
Dan, just a day after declaring that he wants to get NATO more involved in providing for Iraq's security, President Bush conceded late this afternoon that the most he can hope for is help from NATO to train up an Iraqi security force.
I don't expect more troops from NATO to be offered up. That's an unrealistic expectation. Nobody is suggesting that.
The pronouncement appeared to be a direct response to the public scolding Mr. Bush received from France's president yesterday, who said it is not NATO's purpose to intervene in Iraq and that any participation should be at the request of Iraq's government. Even if NATO does offer help, training a competent Iraqi force will take months, which would seem to contradict the president's claim today that the face of security in Iraq will not be American.
No, there will be an Iraqi face on the security of Iraq. The Iraqis will secure their own country, and we are there to help them do so.
The prison abuse scandal also crept into this summit. The president was asked today about a Justice Department memo from last year which argued he was not bound by U.S. laws barring torture. Mr. Bush did not recall seeing that memo, but did remember orders he sent out on the interrogation of prisoners.
Anything we did would conform to U.S. law and would be consistent with international treaty obligations. That's the message I gave our people.
But what President Bush would not offer up today was an unequivocal renouncement of the use of torture or say whether there were any circumstances under which he thought it would be justified. On the NATO issue, President Bush hopes to thwart France's lack of enthusiasm by urging Iraqi leaders to make their case in person at the NATO summit later this month. Dan?
John Roberts reporting live from Savannah, Georgia. In Iraq today, a U.S. military intelligence officer revealed that 4 Arab men posing as journalists were arrested Sunday as they tried to drive into the U.S. headquarters compound in Baghdad. Their credentials turned out to be counterfeit, and explosives were later found in their hotel rooms. In Afghanistan today, 11 Chinese highway workers were murdered in the deadliest attack on foreign civilians since the fall of the Taliban. The Chinese workers were attacked before dawn as they slept in a tent at a construction site. Also today, the U.S. military said an Australian captured with the Taliban in Afghanistan will be tried by a military tribunal. David Hicks, who's being held on the U.S. Navy base at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, is charged with conspiracy and aiding the enemy. He will not face the death penalty. At the G8 summit today, President Bush confirmed that U.S. investigators are looking into allegations that Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi plotted to kill Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Abdullah. CBS's Sheila McVicker has been looking into this and reports the alleged plot apparently grew out of a personal clash between the 2 Arab leaders.
The setting was very public, a televised Arab summit, and the words very personal. The Saudi Crown Prince called Libya's Colonel Gaddafi a liar. Your lies precede you, the Crown Prince told the Libyan leader, and your grave is in front of you. Intelligence sources say it was this clash which led Libya's intelligence services to order the covert plan to assassinate the Saudi prince, a plan which directly implicates the Libyan leader. One of the participants in the plan was prominent American Muslim leader Abdul Rahman al-Amoudi, the founder of the American Muslim Council. Mr. al-Amoudi is in prison in Virginia, indicted after his arrest last fall on charges of violating U.S. sanctions by traveling to Libya and accepting Libyan money. According to sources who have seen transcripts of his interrogations, Mr. al-Amoudi told U.S. investigators that last June in a meeting in Tripoli, Colonel Gaddafi said, quote, "I want the Crown Prince killed, either through assassination or a coup." As the Muslim holy month of Ramadan was ending in Mecca last year, Saudi authorities arrested 4 men and found weapons they say were to be used in the assassination attempt. A man said to be a Libyan intelligence colonel was also arrested. Saudi officials say he was supposed to pay the men $1 million in cash. All of this at a time when Colonel Gaddafi was supposed to be reforming, renouncing his weapons of mass destruction and being welcomed back into international polite society. Libya's foreign minister appeared today to deny the alleged plot.
It is not true. It is baseless. It's nonsense.
But President Bush has confirmed there is an investigation, and senior U.S. administration officials say that Colonel Gaddafi has been confronted and warned. If investigators conclude the plot was real and the Libyan leader was involved, it could poison much of the goodwill generated by Libya's unilateral disarmament and put Colonel Gaddafi up near the top of the list of rogue leaders again. Sheila McVicker, CBS News, London.
We want to take you back over to the Capitol now, where President Reagan lies in state. President George W. Bush has just paid his respects. The 43rd President of the United States saluting the 40th. President Bush will deliver one of the eulogies for President Reagan at the National Memorial Service tomorrow morning at the National Cathedral here in Washington. There is mourning tonight for another American of humble origins who, like Ronald Reagan, rose to greatness and became one of the most beloved figures of his time. Ray Charles died today in California of liver failure. He was 73. Ray Charles was a master of American music, from jazz to country, gospel to pop, and he blended them into something new. He called it soul. Jim Axelrod has his soulful story.
In his own way, Ray Charles made as many American chests swell with pride as that other American icon being mourned tonight. And his story is every bit the Horatio Alger rags to riches American success tale.
But it's all sweet song. Hey, keep Georgia on my mind.
A son of the American South, Ray Charles Robinson was born poor, was blind by 7, and orphaned at 15.
When you start out with 0, you know what it is to be poor. You know what it is to be hungry. Oh, what you trying to do to me? I just need you, baby.
He went on to win a dozen Grammys, make millions, and shape the culture of the country he loved.
We do have the freedom to say things we want to say, and we can, if we have the will and the drive, we can pretty much make ourselves become whatever.
Ray Charles did more than just entertain for 57 years. He cross-pollinated American music. During one week in 1962, he was #1 on the country, R&B, and pop charts, all at the same time.
Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack.
Brother Ray had his deep sorrows and his demons, battling heroin for years. His saving grace was a refusal to wallow in self-pity. Glaucoma took his sight, not his soul.
I look at blindness like an inconvenience. I can do 98% of everything I want to do in my life.
And whatever hardship robbed, his music seemed to restore.
Music really and truly is my bloodstream, you know, my breathing, my respiratory system, I guess. For me, it is living. For me, there ain't no retiring until the day when they put me away.
And not even then. He has one more album of new material set for release next month. Ray Charles was simply too big an American legend to suddenly go silent for good. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, New York.
Coming up next on the CBS Evening News, your phone bill. It may soon be going up. We'll tell you why in tonight's Inside Story. And then later, they started as foes, ended as friends. How Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev worked together to end the Cold War. CBS's special series, The Legacy. But first, CBS News honors fallen heroes. Ron Genther was a Navy reservist working on the rebuilding of Iraq. His family says Genther was fun to be around, had a great laugh, and loved to sing, especially country and western. Genther's 9-year-old daughter says her father was a hero for going to Iraq. He loved everyone, she said, and wanted everyone to be free.
hey.